Hi, GCC. Um, Thank you for joining us and welcome to our first of many employer spotlights. Today we are speaking with Ascend Behavior Partners and Jenna Grayson. My name is Dakota Weber and I am the event coordinator and social media marketing coordinator for GCC Career Services. And I'm joined with my coworker, Lindsay Walker, who is our experiential learning coordinator. A note to our viewers, if you're watching this broadcast, you can go ahead and drop any questions that you have for our guest in the comments of the video, and we'll go ahead and ask those at the end of this presentation. But for now, Jenna, do you want to introduce yourself, what you do at the company, and then a little bit about your company?
Yeah, definitely. So thank you, first of all, for having me. My name is Jenna Grayson, and I'm the Talent Relationship Specialist here at Ascend Behavior Partners. And here at Ascend, we're an independently owned ABA provider. We provide autism therapy services to families and kiddos who are on the spectrum. And, we provide comprehensive wraparound services. So that would look like diagnostic evaluations, clinical assessments by our board-certified behavior analysts, registered behavior technicians. We have care navigators, social workers. Like I said, it's all comprehensive wraparound services to families who've got young kiddos who are just recently diagnosed.
Thanks for sharing an overview, Jenna. I'm just curious, currently what positions are available and how would individuals apply with Ascend?
So right now I'm recruiting for registered behavior technicians. That's, we call them RBTs for short. And basically to apply, you could either send me an email at Jenna, well, actually I'll give you mine. It's J Grayson, GREYSON at ascendbehavior.com, or the easiest way would probably be just to go onto our website at www.ascendbehavior.com. And then just click on the careers link and you can apply right there.
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome. So are these part-time or full-time positions you're hiring for?
So this is a full-time position, and the reason we do this as a full-time position is because we're one of the only in-home ABA providers that guarantees their techs full-time work hours. So our technicians are guaranteed between 34 and 36 hours every week, and that's regardless of whether a kiddo gets sick, a family goes on vacation, or shifts get canceled.
And so it sounds like, Jenna, you're looking specifically for students or individuals with BHT certification, correct?
Actually, they don't have to be certified.
Okay.
What we would do is, so this is the perfect entry-level career position for somebody who's going to school for psychology, social work, early childhood education, early childhood development, that sort of thing. This is a great segue into that. So what we would do is if we moved forward with employment after we went through a couple of interviews, we would send them through the RBT Academy. It's about 40 to 50 hours worth of coursework. And then we have trainers that they would be checking in with. And then once they take their test and become credentialed, they own their credentials. That's theirs for life.
Awesome. So I guess on that note then, with the candidates that will be applying, what skills are ideal for these positions? What are you going to be looking for?
You have to have the heart of a hero and the strength of a warrior and the humor of a comedian. Your inner child really needs to be ageless and timeless. Our demographic, our kiddos, we get them between 2 and 6 because early intervention is really where it's at in order to have a successful outcome. So these are itty bitty kids and everything we do is play-based. The whole idea is that these children should not even realize they're receiving therapy because they're having so much fun. So you have to be really resilient. You have to be responsible. And you have to be fun and not be afraid to be a goofball.
Thank you.
What are some valuable tips that you could give our students when they're applying to this position or looking to go into this career path?
The biggest thing is you really have to be very mission driven because there's a world of difference between getting up in the morning and going to work and then getting up in the morning and going to go make a difference. You really have to be values aligned and you have to be doing it for the right reason because it can be a hard job. It's an amazing career and it's super exciting because I think we can all agree there's nothing quite like seeing the look on a mom and dad's face the first time they hear the sound of their child's voice, especially when they thought they would never hear their kids ever say the words mommy or daddy. But to get to that point, it can be hard. And so it does take a lot of resilience and determination.
Sorry, Lindsay, you're on mute.
Thank you. I was just checking to see if we had any questions from viewers, and at the moment we don't. So I just wanted to continue asking you, Jenna, with these positions, is there any sort of special certifications that they'll need going into it, or will that be provided by Ascend, for example, fingerprint, clearance card, all that stuff?
So we do all of the background checks, and then you would have to get your first aid and your CPR. If you don't have that at the time of training, then we would send you out for that. But then, like I said, we do pay for all of the coursework to go through the RBT training, and then we do pay for the exam fees, and then your renewal license every year as well.
Okay, perfect.
Now, the cool part about this is the RBT position here at Ascend was created to be a career position. So there are several different levels of RBT, and every time you go up a level, you go up another $1 an hour. But we also have a BCBA residency and fellowship program. So for those people who want to go back to school and obtain their master's in ABA, they can start earning their supervision hours while they're working and earning income. So to paint a picture of this, when I started in this field 11 years ago, there were only 72 BCBAs in the entire state of Arizona. To date, there's still only 520. And out of that, 1 in 54 kiddos are being diagnosed with autism. So you can see there's a huge need. So we have to grow this field in order to keep up with the demand. And that's why we offer those supervision hours.
Absolutely.
So we have a question from someone. They were wondering if there were any educational benefits offered, or do you guys do third-party payments for education?
Actually, that's a great question. We, through Purdue, you can get a 14% tuition discount.
Perfect. So kind of a fun question. It gives, I think, talent relationship specialists a little, just a fun way to think back at any of the applicants that you've had in the past. But can you share a funny story during the hiring process cycle that will help us understand what not to do or what to do when they're in the process?
All right, so one of my favorite stories is one of our guys up in Denver. And first of all, hashtag fun, exclamation point, is literally one of our 6 core values. Because if you're going to work at Ascend, you have to have fun. Like, so usually, like, I pop up on the screen for an interview, and I'm like, I've got a costume or something funny on, you know, like, just to break the ice. Because interviews can be nerve-wracking. And quite frankly, I feel like they should be fun. It's just a conversation to see if you're a good fit for each other. So one of the questions I asked was, and he'd been working with kids older kids in a school setting. And I said, so can you tell me about a time you made a mistake with a kiddo at work, right? Because we're a very humble learning community here at Ascend. And he goes, oh yeah, I was working with this older kid. He was about 13 and he was pretty big, but his favorite thing to do was play cops and robbers. He really liked to play this game, and we'd play make-believe, and we worked really hard on his play skills. So I told him, first then, if then, right? First you do your work, then we can play this game. He said, okay, well, the child did all of his work, got through all of it. He said, and then it was like time to play. And he said he let the kid take it too far, because by the time they were all done playing, he realized his hands were like taped behind the chair. His legs were taped to the chair. The kid put tape around his mouth and then ran out of the room. He said he was jumping up, trying to hop around, like, hey, can somebody help me? Because he was in a clinic setting. But the beauty of that story, and of course we hired him, and here's why. He told that story unashamedly. Like, I made a mistake. Here's what I learned from it going forward. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he told it with so much panache. He was like, you know what? You can do this job because you're going to make mistakes. And it's okay. It's what we learn from them that really matters.
That's
We have
great.
Yeah, thank you. That was really funny. We have another question, a couple questions actually. What education level is required for the different positions that you're offering?
So for our RBT position, you know, we would prefer we would prefer a bachelor's, but if you're not through school yet, that's okay too, because this is a great entry-level position for people just starting their career. For our BCBA position, you do have to be a master's level clinician.
Perfect. We do have another question. So will these employees be working with clients at their homes, or do clients come to the facility?
Yes, that's a great question. So because of our demographic of kiddos, I call them the itty bitties. They're little. So we've seen, and research demonstrates, that our kids do so much better and they generalize their skills more quickly when they're receiving treatment in the environment they're most comfortable in. So that's why we don't have a clinic or a center base at all. And we work exclusively in their home or daycare setting if that's their natural environment. Basically, we go wherever the kid goes. We meet the family and the child where they're at. And again, too, they're really little, so I see it as a way of maintaining client dignity, too. Because think about it, how do kids learn? Kids learn through play. I think Mr. Rogers had that right when he said that play is the work of childhood. And if you're going to experience the life-changing magic of ABA, that magic needs to happen where life happens, and life happens at home. And we really partner with our parents to make sure they have all the tools and skills they need. So being in the home setting or wherever the family spends most of their time is probably the best because they end up having a better outcome for everybody in the family.
And so when whoever is applying to these jobs, where exactly in the Valley are they located in general? Are you guys throughout the Valley or in one specific location?
Another great question, Lindsay. So because we do pretty much home community-based services, what we do is we find out where the candidate lives, and then we try and match them with a family with about 20 square miles. It doesn't always happen. If you end up driving more than 20 miles, then we pay you for your mileage. So a typical day would look like you would arrive at your first client's home at 8 in the morning. You'd be there about 3.5 or 4 hours. Then you'd have your lunch break, and you'd drive over to your next kiddo's house, and you'd be there about 3.5 or 4 hours. You'd plan on providing about 7 hours of direct service every day. And of course, we do pay you for your drive time between your two clients.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Another question is, what types of activities do employees interact with clients? So I'm assuming what type of activities do clients do, or do employees do while they're working with their clients?
Okay, so first of all, the board certified behavior analyst goes in and they do the assessment. And let me back it up a little bit. Let's talk about what exactly ABA is and what that looks like in vivo. So you could think of a board certified behavior analyst, that's the master's level clinician. You could think of them as almost an Army general. And then the RBT, the registered behavior technician, that's the position I'm recruiting for right now. They're like the special forces. They're kind of the foot soldier and the boots on the ground. So the ABA goes in and does an assessment on the kiddo, and they're looking at different skill domains like social, emotional, communication, receptive, expressive language, daily independent living skills, pretty much all the things that typical children learn just from observing in their environment. We have to break down into little steps to teach to our kids. So the BCBA goes in and does the assessment. Then the BCBA writes a program to teach this kiddo those skills. The RBT goes into the home and works one-on-one with the kiddo to teach these skills. And while they're teaching those skills, they're also running trials and taking data, right? Because everything about ABA is scientific, evidence-based. It's all data-driven. And once a week, the BCBA pulls that data, looks at the data and says, okay, these numbers look good, this looks good. Okay, these numbers aren't moving where they need to be. So we're going to tweak this program a little bit. Here's your instruction. Go back into the home, and this is what I want you to do now. And then they just keep doing it until the child is starting to gain all the skills and it starts to come together. Now, the thing that's different about Ascend is we do play-based learning. So everything is play-based. Anything you can turn into a game, the child doesn't really realize they're getting therapy. So it's not realistic, I don't think, to get a little kiddo, especially that age, to sit down at a table and touch blue all day. Yay! That's not going to happen. So, for example, one of my candidates, this was about a year ago, I said to him, so what's the craziest thing you've ever done to pair with your client? And pairing is building that relationship, because at Ascend, we put relationships above all else. And he was a big guy, too. He goes, well, I had this little girl. You know the movie Frozen? I'm like, yeah, I know Frozen. He goes, she was really into Elsa. I'm like, yeah? He goes, so I went to the Disney store and I bought the biggest Elsa costume I could find. And then I took it to the tailor and I had her sew a gusset in the back so I could fit into it. And we played Elsa. And I did all of my teaching in an Elsa costume. And we played Elsa all day. So it's really a matter of getting to know your kiddo, kind of figuring out what they like and what motivates them. Because at the end of the day, ABA, you're hacking human behavior. You're a behavior detective. It's really exciting. And you have to do a preference assessment. You have to figure out, what is this kid into? What is going to motivate them right now to get them to do this? And I've heard stories of RBTs like, oh, we did the whole session under the table because kiddo wanted to be under the table that day. Or, we also do potty training, which is a huge thing. It's super, super exciting. People come up with really creative ways to do even things like potty training. Like, who would have thought it, right? But I find interesting that ABA is very scientific, evidence-based, but it's also very creative. And it's really where science and art dovetail well together. So if you like both of those components and you're a big kid, this would probably be a great job.
Absolutely. And thank you, Jenna. Wow, the time flew by. We are at time right now, but before we wrap up, wanted to see if you have any last words for students who may be applying and anything else they should know.
I do. So I want to tell you guys that I'm very passionate about this, as you can tell, but not just personally, but professionally. So I have a son who's 13 who has autism spectrum disorder. He was diagnosed at 2. And at the age of 3, we started ABA, and we did 40 hours a week for 3 years. Because of this work and these people who are out there, these superheroes, my kiddo's going to live independently someday. He's going to go to college. He does all the same things that his other typical friends do. He's got friends. He plays sports, hobbies, right? Like, ABA gave us our family and our life back. And it's an amazing career. So if you're looking for something rewarding and you want to make a difference, check it out. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. Thank you so much, Jenna, for sharing the opportunity. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So you heard today about the opportunities at Ascend. For our viewers interested in applying to these positions, we in Career Services at GCC can assist you with your resume and cover letters, mock interviews, and any other assistance you may need during the application process. You can head on over to our website, which will be linked in the description, and you can schedule an appointment with one of our staff members. Additionally, please make sure to follow us on social media. Check out Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to keep up to date with our workshops, events, and career tips. Lastly, thank you again, Jenna, for speaking with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Dakota. You guys take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.